Hello there everyone, I am Dresden, and welcome back to another episode of GTA Vehicle Testing. Today we are back here in the Champion, Dewbauchee Champion, the Aston Martin Valiant. And we're going to be doing our mud test today, see how it does on our rally track. So, of course, as per usual, we are going to have 5 laps that we do in this vehicle, and at the end we will take our fastest lap and throw it in a leaderboard, and then we'll show you the leaderboard as well at the end of this, where it places in both the sprint and the rally. Let's go ahead and get started. So, again, if you haven't seen this lap, every time I go over that little jump at the end there, the lap ends, restarts, and that's pretty much it. We just got to take this lap, see how fast we can do it. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to do on the rally course compared to the last few vehicles. This is very much a race car. I'm not sure how its off-road traction loss is, because if you guys didn't know, vehicles in GTA have a stat called off-road traction loss, where if the vehicle, because the tires don't do hardly anything, the tire type, that's all visual. The vehicle itself has a thing called off-road traction loss, where if it goes off-road, then it gets less traction. Obviously, it loses traction, off-road traction loss. And so this, being a race car, probably has a higher off-road traction loss than probably any of the vehicles we've ran so far. The Rustin may have had a high one, but the BJ and the Oracle may not have. So we were testing basically the off-road traction loss of the vehicles. So like things like if I ever, ooh, that was cool. See, it means that I can do some cool turns and stuff though, which is neat. But if I ever end up getting like the Indy cars, which I do have a plan to test every vehicle in GTA Online. I don't know how feasible that is, because my thing here is I need to own the vehicle to test it. But if I do end up getting any of the Indy cars, they have a really high off-road traction loss, from what I remember. So they are going to be unbelievably uncontrollable on the dirt, and it should be interesting, to say the least. There's one lap. Let's go over the jump, brake a little bit so that we can make the turn, and take lap number 2. So that lap felt decent, but now we actually have a run-up coming in, though the run-up is probably about the same as it was before. The main difference now is I kind of have an idea of how the vehicle controls off-road, so there's a chance that I can drive it a little better. Not sure if that's going to stick, but we will see. I know the vehicle's not sticking, though. Haha. Because it's slipping. Slippery on the mud. Anyway. Oh! Alright, this will not be better than the last lap. Any little spin or anything like that is bad. Okay, so we're kind of learning how much is too much, is what we're kind of learning right now. Ooh. And apparently that much is too much. Whatever we just did with it, that's too much. the little jump there. Whee! Whoa! Crap, this thing is like, it's like driving a vehicle on drift tires in Forza off-road. It's just not it. Not having it at all. Too much power to the wheels, it just spins. Not enough power to the wheels, it still spins. I don't know, it just spins. This thing is just spinning. Ooh. Oh, we almost could clear that though, so that's good. That's a nice thing. We definitely just drug our entire undercarriage there. Let's see, how hard can we hit this? Can we clear both of these? Oh! Oh! Lovely, but the brakes are not good enough for there. Though maybe being able to go in a straight line here is not the worst thing. I don't know, we'll try. Also, I'm not going to brake there. Okay, we can get away with not braking there. Good. The jump isn't big enough that we cannot get away with it. This is going to be, I'm going to try to make this the best lap we've had. I'm going to try to not spin out. I'm going to try to keep it going pretty quick. And just kind of hope. The bulldozers that are parked over there, sometimes they can park in the middle of the road there. I don't know if they'll move. I mean, I'm assuming they will, because if I get far enough away, they disappear and then they respawn. So there's always a chance that there will be a bulldozer just in the middle of the course there. And if that's the case, it's just a fun little obstacle to avoid. But it should only be there for one lap, because I think the start-finish line is far enough away that it'll despawn. So we just got to keep that in mind. We got to always be a little wary going around that turn on the tarmac that goes to the actual mud off-road bit. Oh, we almost didn't clear that. That would be bad. I wonder how it would be if we got stuck. That was bad. That's going to ruin the lap time. That little spin. Just one little spin. Absolutely going to ruin the lap time for this. Which stinks. What a shame. What a shame it is. Clear it. Yeah, I mean, this clears that pretty good. Another thing, I'm trying to stay on the mud as much as I can. Because if I go off of the mud onto the actual dirt... Okay, the brakes worked there pretty well. Then we get more grip, and that's technically... We're testing it on the mud. The mud is a big part of the rally course that we're testing it on, so... We got to kind of try and keep it on the mud if we can, except for like over here, obviously. This is the tarmac portion of the rally course that I've set up here, so it makes sense that we can get a little more speed, a little more tarmac-y. Still dirt, though. Yeah, right here, right there, where the car just was when I said there. That's where the bulldozer can spawn sometimes. It can prove to be an issue, I'm sure. I haven't actually run into it being an issue yet. I've only seen it spawn there once, but it did spook me. I was doing a test run on this track with the Oracle, I believe. Well, actually, it wasn't a test run. It was for a thumbnail. I don't do test runs, but for a thumbnail, I ran the Oracle again on this course because I forgot to do the in-game recording thing when I was actually recording the video. And there was a bulldozer there, so... We got to be a little wary of that. This thing honestly doesn't feel that bad. I'm curious. I feel like the times on the off-road portion are going to be very close to each other in the grand scheme of things. Just because, I mean, I said it before and I'll say it again. All the vehicles in this game are made to be able to go both on and off-road. Some of them, it's really suspension and off-road traction loss that matters. But... Ooh, slow down, slow down. We're facing a bad direction there. The only thing that I can foresee really limiting the times is if they do keep making mistakes because of the traction loss. But all the vehicles in this game are designed to do both on and off-road. So they're not going to be atrocious off-road unless it's... I don't know how like the go-kart would be or the any of the Indy cars. Or F1 cars, I guess, whatever you want to refer to them as. Alright, and this is the final lap, so we're going to really try and get a good lap here. I still think our best lap is going to be the second lap for now. If we spin out on this lap, then it'll probably stick to being that way. But we're going to try our very best to not spin out here. And see how it goes. It's so iffy to drive. This thing, it's so iffy to drive on this rally course. It is most definitely not made for this. And I mean, you can tell just by looking at it. Obviously, it's not made for this. But it's just so slidey. And it can be useful, like I said. Can be useful in turns. That was bad. That might be it for this lap. That might have rooted this lap as not so good. I don't think it's the worst one. I think the third lap, was pretty bad. But I just can't stop this thing from spinning. And it's so difficult. And it's such a shame, too, because, like, I think this thing... I mean, all the vehicles in this game could have potential. Again, this is a test of my driving with the vehicles, not just the vehicles. Or else we'd do, like, 40 laps and then take the best time. But... yeah, okay, this is the end, and hammer it, let's brake. All right. There it is. The times are on the top right of your screen. You can see, figure out which one is the fastest time. But there we go. That is the Valiant on the off-road course. We've got a little dent in the front. I'm assuming we hit a bump a little rough. You can see the light kind of bends weird on the front there. That's the only way to really tell there's a bump. I mean, it's kind of pressed in a little, I guess, but it's really not bad. This thing, honestly, it did decent. Like, it compared to the other vehicles we've run, I don't know, but compared to what I thought it would do, how I thought it would go, it did much better than it averted my expectations. It definitely did. All right, on to the leaderboard for the champion. I said Valiant. Champion. Sorry, Aston Martin Valiant is what this is based off of, and so that's where I'm getting Valiant from. Yeah, onto the leaderboard for this vehicle, though. Let's see where it placed in birth, in both the street racing bit and the other bit. See how it did. All right, and here we are with the leaderboard. So here we are, the sprint champion, of course, in first place. Kind of makes sense looking at it. With a time of 9 minutes and 58.14 seconds. Almost an entire minute ahead of the Rustin, which is crazy. It's almost, 3 minutes ahead of the BJ? 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. It's almost 3 minutes ahead of the BJ, which is just insane. But what's crazier to me is we come over here to the rally. Champion's in first place on the rally by 2.5 seconds. That feels crazy to me because that thing is just a purpose-built racing machine. And it's really good off-road, which is wild. But I guess it kind of shows that, the vehicles, like I said in this episode, are built to both be on-road and off-road vehicles, because in this game, when you're playing missions and stuff with the vehicles, you're driving both on-road and off-road half the time, and it's got to be decent on both, unless there's like the Indy cars are like probably purpose-built for roads, and off-road is going to be bad, or like the Sand King is going to be faster off-road than on, or the trophy trucks or whatever. But yeah, no. Very nice times from the champion. Brings it to first. But that is going to be it from me. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Go check out all of my channels. Links in the description. And yeah, till next time, this has been Dresden, and goodbye.